Hello, my name is Kilimanjaro, and I have been a gamer for the better part of 2 decades. I've worked on some small personal game projects as well as larger games, including certain Call of Duty titles, but we don't get into that. And I have been absolutely enjoying Avowed. I have over 25 hours in the game now, all streamed on Twitch, and it has been amazing. I feel like I've gotten to enjoy that sense of exploration and immersion that I haven't had the opportunity to feel from a game in a long time. I gotta say, it's been a minute. As a loot goblin, I have to say this world is dense. There are so many small passages and backways that lead to treasure and goodies I have missed, having been through an area 3 or more times and finding something new every time has been really nice. It's been really good. Now, what is Avowed? Avowed is an action role-playing game developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Xbox Game Studios. The game is set in the world of Eora, the same universe as Pillars of Eternity and Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, both really good CRPGs. I was first drawn into this game by the mere fact I have played the first 2 CRPGs and deeply enjoyed them. Their storylines, characters, and world were just so full of life and fun moments while still having room for fun jokes and interesting situations that you just can't help but play them. The lore kicks off with that classic yet captivating beach awakening. Your shipwreck isn't just a cliche, it leaves you questioning everything. Why did your vessel crash? What dark forces are at play? As you venture forth, you encounter reptilian creatures known as Zarps, who are definitely bigger than I had anticipated from playing the first 2 games, but it makes sense when you think about what kind of creatures would be a risk to an average human citizen, and plague-ridden foes afflicted by the mysterious Dream Scourge. This familiar start gets a fresh spin, setting the stage for a mystery that's as engrossing as it is unpredictable. Not long after that eerie beachside beginning, you're joined by 2 companions who instantly feel like real, breathing characters, each packing their own quirks and backstories. Escaping from the island for the sprawling living lands, you quickly discover that your soul is tethered to a mysterious entity, one that haunts both your waking moments and dreams with cryptic, almost forgotten questions. Every decision in the branching quests counts, with outcomes that can either backfire hilariously or elevate your journey to epic heights. By the way, R.I.P. Sargamas. My bad for getting your soul flushed down the Adra toilet because I missed a light switch. Oh god. Not to mention all the NPCs feel real in a sense. Not just random NPC quest givers, but like they have their own motives and motivations. And if you do enough exploring, you can find out some of the background plotting and machinations that are afoot in the world outside of your own godlike shenanigans. But let's talk combat. Because Avowed doesn't just tell a story, it makes you a part of it. The battles are snappy, dynamic, and packed with personality. Whether you're dual-wielding a pistol and a shield, yes, you can do that, unleashing a blood-drenched 2-handed sword, which is really cool. It's called the Horse Cutter or something like that. I have it. Or hurling enemies sky-high with a spell that's practically a miniature black hole. It's also hilarious to watch bears just kind of float around. Every fight bursts with vibrant color, sound, and pure adrenaline. The boss fights keep you on your toes, even when you are over-leveled and over-geared like I find myself to be, loot goblin problems. The dodge mechanics, block, and parry mechanics are all entertaining, with the ability to eventually reflect projectiles should you so desire. The game world is magnificent. Is it the largest world ever made? No. But is it one of the most entertaining? I would say yes. A problem a lot of games have is they make worlds that are massive simply for the sake of saying they have a massive world. Avowed takes a different approach. The world is still a decently large size. The Emerald Stair alone has more than 20 fast travel locations, and it took me well over 2 hours to find every piece of the Skane totem, if that makes any difference to you. By the way, that was crazy. And that is just one area. I have so far interacted with 4 different areas, and they all feel like they are either bigger than the last or around the same size as the Emerald Stair, with dungeons, caves, interesting monsters, and loot all ferreted throughout just about every nook and cranny you can imagine. I often find myself on top of or under houses, looking for more bags of loot and hidden notes of lore. The world also doesn't look samey. Every area feels unique and lived in. None of this permanent gray across the lands as far as the eye can see. You go from abandoned islands to subtropical to lush and verdant forests all the way to a desert and more over the course of the game, and each one is beautifully crafted. Not to mention the companions. The companions in this game are very interesting. I personally like Kai and Giada the most at the moment, but the other 2, Marius and Yatsli, also have very interesting and unique personalities. Yahtzee probably is one of the most fun to interact with outside of the quips Kai makes. They have history outside of the events of Avowed, and you get to learn about them and experience their emotions and personalities as they react to actions and choices you make throughout your adventures together in the Living Lands. Learning the background lore of Giada's family was probably one of my more enjoyable, yet kind of disturbing, parts of this experience. I don't want to spoil it for you, but let's just say things happened. Not to mention the governor of Fior isn't just an NPC, he also has desires and history you can find throughout your adventures that really elaborate on his plight as a governor and son. Specifically, his mom and dad's backstories are pretty sad. As far as comparisons, I don't know what game I would compare Avowed to besides the other titles in the Pillars of Eternity universe. It isn't a light simulation like Skyrim, though they do share a lot of other characteristics, some of which, like combat and exploration and immersion, I would say Avowed wins out in. I would say it has a similar arc to the Fallout series, where the first two games are CRPGs and then it transitions to a first-person perspective game inside of the world and continuing the stories of those earlier titles in its own unique way, without the need to necessarily play those earlier titles. I mean, has anybody played Fallout 1 and Fallout 2? There is a wealth of lore in this game in the form of notes, books, and discussion with characters, as well as a system to read background information as you have conversations, which I find very helpful in jogging my memory of important names and people and gods from the prior games. All in all, I'm giving Avowed a solid 8.5 out of 10. It nails so many of those boxes, from immersive storytelling and vibrant combat to a world overflowing with secrets, that I'd be seriously disappointed if it didn't at least get an expansion. Hopefully, fingers crossed for more adventures in this universe, because this game is easily one of my favorites of the decade. If they don't get like an Avowed 2, I am going to riot. Thanks for sticking with me. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit subscribe.